All right, welcome everybody to a late Sunday night edition of the 100% All Keys tournament between the 100% All Keys god VReznor against just the god himself, the man, the myth, the legend, bentglasstube. I'm joined with just a man, 11-4. How you doing, man?
What's going on, Angry?
Not much at all. What are we thinking about this race here?
I think BGT is going to need a little help.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be a race where we're going to hold our words. I don't think BGT would want it that way. Both runners have readied up, so we'll get them on the delay and start the timer when it happens. But Justin, if you can just inform me as we go on, palace by palace, like what are the key things we're looking for and stuff like that, I'd really appreciate it, and so would the viewers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take us through the early game here as the runners start.
So they're both going to be looking for 50 bag in the magic cave here that they're both heading to. Hold on, I'm just trying to sync these guys up real quick.
Yeah, if anybody hasn't noticed, VReznor has taken the lead, exiting North Castle.
So they're going to try to kill these enemies. I don't know if BGT, he's going to do a little bit of a slower step. They're trying to kill this last enemy at a specific time so that it will do what the one did for Rez there. And unfortunately, BGT does not get it.
BGT did do a practice run to the hammer before this race started, and he definitely got pbag riches on his way. Had a great run to the hammer, might have even PB'd at that part in time, that split. And he does do trophy first before, and you can see Reznor doing the go to Shield Town first strat. What does Trophy Cave do here for bentglasstube now that he doesn't have the pbag?
So we go here anyway after the palace, but he's going to do it early just to basically mimic the XP he would get from the P-bag. It's a little bit less, but it's enough that it doesn't matter. So both runners are going to still need one of the two drops in Palace 1 to be a 200-point bag. As BGT takes a death in there, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that's something BGT can't do here, because he's going to sacrifice lives pretty often just in the run of play.
Yeah, so doing that early actually only loses maybe 10-12 seconds or so, just because the extra walking. The death actually that he just took probably didn't cost him that much either, because he respawned at the edge of the room. But he is down a life now, so that's never good.
Now you can see Rez going through Parappa Cave on his way to Palace 1. bentglasstube is now visiting Shield Town to pick up the shield spell. Again, just the subtle reminder that 100% all keys means all keys, all spells, all sword techniques, and, everything to do with everything in the game.
Rez misses the bubble skip. He's just going to walk the screen. He's a little early on his walk there.
As somebody who has a really good time, somebody like you who has a really good time, let me ask a sort of elitist question to you. If you're playing somebody who's got a PB of let's say 15 minutes slower than you, how often are you going to go for the most optimal skips opposed to Rez trying it once and then just abandoning it?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. Like that skip, if I took the encounter Rez just took, I would have walked it as well, because he's already at the tile. Wow, that was close there. And he takes the death anyway. Rez probably a little upset with that one.
He monkey-toed it twice there, and then finally decided, I guess I used up all my luck. Let me just walk into the water anyway.
He just wanted to even it out a little bit for BGT. He almost just did it again.
Yeah, this is exactly what BGT needs right here. BGT is in the same encounter as they bro hug on the way through. But Rez still has you know what? I don't even know, because you have to factor in Trophy Cave now as well on Rez's side. So it's not a clear picture as who's in the lead, but,
Yeah, I mean, I expect Rez to pick up a lot of time in P1 anyway.
Yeah.
He's very good at the entire game, but P1 especially.
Yeah, Rez has... Within the last calendar year, Rez has really stepped up his game in terms of just optimizing his run and just smacking the hell out of his PB time from last year to this year.
Yeah, he's that good. He's one of the best at this point. There's nothing nothing else to say about it, really. He could, if he wanted to, he could challenge Simple for the record if he wanted to grind it.
Yeah. So here we are. We're in Palace 1 for VReznor as bentglasstube just enters it as right now. There are 3 keys here in the palace, and then you also have an item like you do in all the numbered palaces, which is the candle in this one. And a boss
for swag points there.
Yeah, was he doing the backwards beam?
Yep.
Yeah, I was
beam wrap in the tin suit.
I was reading my prepared statement, so I missed it. But I've watched enough of Rez to know that he does do that.
Yeah.
But hey, what are the more trickier points of Palace 1 here?
I mean, the bots are mainly assuming you've practiced the palace, the bots should be your only problem. They're the only thing in the palace that's kind of random. But there's a lot of them, and they're in a lot of the rooms. This upstairs hallway that Rez is going to be at pretty soon is also a little bit tricky, but again, if you've practiced and you know the timing, other than that bot that Rez just got hit by, everything else can be controlled. But yeah, it's really, everything does a lot of damage. You want to try to keep your beams as long as you can. It's a rough early game. Once you get out of this palace, it's like a lot of relief.
If you get the P-Bag in Magic Container Cave, you don't skip the Stalfoses on your way through? Oh, no.
Yeah. It depends on how you want to do it. BGT probably should have skipped the Stalfos, because Trophy Cave only gives 40 XP. So he has to actually kill... I think he's going to have to kill a lot of bots. I don't know the math exactly. I'll see when he's a little closer.
He's not that much far behind Rez, and if he gets the P-Bag drop off of this this Gumme, Doom, Rattle, whatever you want to call it, he'll be fine. But yeah, it does
his drop will be downstairs on the orange iron knuckle.
Oh, did he skip one Stalfos?
I think he skipped both of them, right? Or no, did he skip both? I don't know. There's no point in skipping only one of them.
Yeah.
The reason to skip both of them on the way there and back is to move the drop so it ends up being on that first one when you get back up the elevator. But if you kill both of them, it's just on the iron knuckle. That was an interesting strat by BGT.
Yeah, he likes to hit walls as he runs around. And that's not really even like just making fun of the situation. Yeah. He finds ways to hit walls, especially when there's no wall in front of him, but on the other side of the screen there's a wall on the way, and he can hit the wall on the way through. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but he basically hits the wall on the other side of the screen.
Wall, yeah, it's exactly, Rez casting shield, he's in a little bit of life trouble.
Yeah, I can hear him cursing out the bots now. on his way through that. You watch these guys so many times, you can actually watch them on mute and hear the music and them at the same time react to their situation. It's
hundreds
funny.
of curse words have already come out of Rez's mouth in this run, I can guarantee it. And he gets that bag on the Stalfos.
Yeah, so that's... Does he need the other bag? He does not, right?
He does not. Yeah. He will skip... or attempt to skip the gorilla down here, Chewbacca, if you will.
Yeah, and this is a strat I learned yesterday, and I think it was you and Rep that brought it up, where he skips the gorilla, the monkey, whatever you want to call him, Gumme, and that puts an additional drop in Death Mountain on his way through.
Yep.
A large bet.
It's just it's a little bit and it's a time save too here in the palace. I mean, I guess you lose it, later killing stuff, but. It's about 4 seconds to just go under him instead of killing him.
And on BGT's side, he did not get the bag. It does not look like, according to his
yeah, he didn't. Unless
there.
He only skipped one of those stealth. Well, I know, it would have already dropped anyway. So he did not get it. He's in life trouble too, but he's still got both his shield casts. And he did know that he had to kill bots, but he unfortunately did not kill enough. So it actually doesn't matter if he gets the bag now. He's going to get attack 3, unless he comes back and kills this bot a second time.
Well, BGT is definitely not one to shy away from just jumping right back into Palace 1 again and doing it all over.
I mean, he literally needs 2 more XP. He could just go back and kill that bot again right now. Yeah, he's going to do that.
Okay, good awareness there on BGT's side.
Yeah, I could tell that he knew he was stopping to kill most of those bots, so you could tell that he knew... Either he knew he screwed up and
then the game knew he needed 2 XP,
Yeah.
so it gave him the blue jar.
Of course.
Yeah.
So he had to kill a third one there.
Well, it's not like that was
Yeah, it's a lot of
entirely
bots.
random. That was a 1 in 6 chance of every 6th enemy, small enemy, will drop a jar or a p-bag. So it was.
Yeah, I think he ended up killing 13 small enemies there, including the gorilla outside the palace. Normally, if you get the 50 bag and don't do the Stelco skips, you do need to kill 7 small enemies, but you've already killed 1 when you enter the palace. So it's 6 boss that you need to kill. One of them is going to drop you, a jar, so you have to get the XP from the other 5. But since he didn't do them, and he went to trophy cave, so he was already down 10 XP. He had to kill a lot more.
And he doesn't get the bag there. So if I know BGT, just watching him practice this and play it through the course of the couple years I've known him, he will just jump right back into Palace 1 and head straight for the gem and collect attack 3 on the way, and then set it up to place the gem the second time through to get his attack 4. Meanwhile, VRez picked up the trophy that BGT got earlier, and he's in the jump town and grabbing the jump spell.
And BGT did hop that gem. It's about, I want to say about a minute, maybe not a full minute time loss.
No,
We'll
I mean,
see.
from leaving the palace, probably a minute, but what he'd save in Death Mountain compared to the time he would lose with attack 3, just taking longer to kill enemies and possibly risking death.
Yeah, and he's already down a life too, so not a lot of room to spare. I assume he'll grab the graveyard one up when he gets there, but that's not till after Death Mountain.
So let's talk about Jump Cave and then the walk to Bagu here.
Yeah, Rez just defeated one of the harder bosses in the game, those 4 Octoroks, without getting hit. It's kind of tough to do. But the cave itself here generally isn't too bad. He's going to get his life 2, and then he's going to cast Jump in the 3rd cave. It's pretty easy room to get through without stopping. The walk to Bagu is the part that actually kills a lot of high-level runners' runs. Too many encounters here, they'll just reset. So he's going to do a little bit of a manipulation as he walks down and waits for them to spawn, just a couple extra steps. And then he gets a good spawn. Another good spawn. And he should be clean to get all the way there now, unless he gets trolled here. Which he did. Bagu skip.
Yeah, he got the encounter right on Bagu's tile there, so he's going to have to take the walk through, move around, and move back onto the tile to get the Bagu, which gives you the note to give to the Riverman in Saria to cross to Death Mountain here. How many times during the course BGT finally places the gem in 1, he'll go at attack 4 on his way towards Jump Town? How many times a year does the walk to Bagu, does somebody find a new way to maybe get a better walk to Bagu? That changes often, correct?
No, I mean, I don't know. I've pretty much done the same thing, but you have to react to the spawns. The setup has been the same since I've started.
Okay.
But if you kind of have to time your walk. When you first start walking, you have to react to like when they spawn in, if they start moving immediately or if they hesitate a little bit, you gotta kind of react off that. And then you do have to kind of hope that they don't get in your way. That second spawn as you're walking down is usually the one that'll get you. And then from there, if you take that first one, it can be tough to get there without taking a second one.
And I've seen
Rez, I mean, he only took 1 encounter. It was at the very end. It's unfortunate, but 1 encounter Bagu is not actually terrible, so he'll probably take it.
Yeah, again, he's not he has the luxury here especially if he's following bentglasstube's progress to kind of those mistakes are well afforded. He can do things like that and just hesitate, not get on tilt, and just not react.
And he will still probably go for, like you were saying earlier, whether or not you'll go for all the skips and whatnot. He probably will. I mean, Rez wants to just have a good run, I feel like, whenever he plays this game, so.
Yeah. And he's going to cross over into Death Mountain now. So let's talk about Death Mountain here. What's the So what's the best case scenario in Death Mountain for a runner to happen?
Don't die. Get some pbags. Keep your beam. Rez is good enough where he doesn't even have to take the refill in town. He's just gonna trust that he doesn't get hit, which he didn't. It's the magic refill.
Yeah, he took Magic 2 there, and he, as opposed to other runners that would not take Magic 2 until after Palace 2. Why would he do that?
Well, no, you usually take it in here.
Do you?
Unless you're, if you're on attack 3 run, you won't. You can't afford it, and you can't afford life 3 until usually after Palace 2, unless you get a lot of pbags. But yeah, no, you usually will. That's why he didn't take the refill. I'm just saying, like, sometimes you don't want to, if you lose your beam right there, you want to be able to cast life before you take Magic 2, so you have everything full again. He's not even worried about that. He's just gonna go. Fortunately, he did lose his beams again.
See bentglasstube's on his second encounter here on the walk to Bagu.
Yeah, he might make it. It's gonna be, yeah, there's gonna be another spawn. Okay, he's good though.
Yeah, you got the spawn on the grass tile where the overworld enemies will spawn more further away than if he took the encounter on the forest tiles, so that helped him out there.
Yeah, it's a risky strat, but sometimes works. It's tough to go up and then try to go under an encounter. For whatever reason in this game, it's a lot easier to go up and over them rather than down and below them. If you go down, they oftentimes just follow you. He got it. He timed it right. What was the over/under? How many bits did Rez kill?
He got 2 and 3. I think that puts it over. Yeah.
Yeah, that's over.
That's over. So I was waiting for that too. But he grabs it. So his next plan of attack here is to grab 2,000 experience and go to attack 5, which he'll hopefully have. Well, it's pretty much a given that he'll have that and more by the end of Palace 2.
Yeah, he's well on his way. Already getting an early pbag drop there.
Bentglasstube is in Saria now. VReznor's in the Hammer Cave, so he's going to go a couple of screens here and pick up the hammer to progress further. Hammer breaks all the boulders in the game and the overworld, so you can get past them. Very simple.
Oh, a little trouble for Rez on the diary. Still got magic to cast life though.
Yeah.
Gonna want to have beams coming out of here for a couple rooms. Or I guess just one room coming out. He already killed all the Megmats.
I thought he short jumped that, and I thought he was going to end up in lava. I really did. But those are the kind of things that, you know, I'm sure they happen still for even the top players in a normal run. It's just, you know, you flake a little bit, you jump too soon, or you try to force a jump and get hit by a bot and get knocked backwards in lava or wherever.
Yeah, a common one in that room is actually just trying to kill the Mew and missing, and then getting knocked in by the Mew. Even though you normally don't have to kill him. See how Rez just killed him there with that crouching, falling stab. It's tough to do, so if you miss and just walk into him, get knocked back into the lava.
So the rules for the 100% all keys tournament are: you have to get all the keys in all the palaces, all the items in all the palaces and in the overworld, including all the heart containers, magic containers, and spells. You don't have to pick up all the red jars or one-up dolls or what is the other thing that's in the overworld? The pbags. But all major items, all spells, all sword techniques, up stab, down stab, and then progress through the game. No glitching, no major glitches at all. Just play the game straight up as it was intended to be played.
Except for Ceiling Walk.
Ceiling Walk is allowed, yeah. That is.
Although, I don't know. That's arguably a glitch. You'd have to. Yeah. That's a whole separate argument, really.
I am the one that normally brings that up, but it's okay. It's glad to have you here. But here we go with Rez is exiting Death Mountain here, and BGT is still like in the middle-ish. Got like 4 more caves to go before he gets to Hammer Cave.
Yeah, he's doing all right though.
What point in time do you consider taking this one up by Rez?
Well, if it's a race and I've already died, I probably would take it. and I expect him to take it. So if it's, if it's a PB attempt, I'd probably reset since I died, but...
Right.
Yeah.
He's not going to take it.
Well, Rez not going to... Like I said, Rez is just going to go.
Yeah.
Rez will probably just skip the first death abuse in P4. The reason... Because I do that anyway, and the reason is so I can have a third life for the end of the game in case I take a bad death, in Lava and Valley of Death or something like that. Just, it can happen. Rez pretty confident that he won't need that. But I do expect him to skip one death abuse. He's not going to try to finish the game with one life.
He makes his way to Medicine Cave. He walked a little bit paced back and forth on that road there to set up the manipulation of the overworld enemies so he can have a clean walk right into Medicine Cave where he'll grab the medicine, the Water of Life, and he'll turn this in the town of Mido, which he'll go to next, and it will give him the fairy spell.
I missed how many bits BGT killed. We're going to have to check the tape.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to check the tape on that one. So BGT is undefeated today. Here's your BGT fact for the day. On November 19, 2017, BGT is undefeated in races, and unless this race ends in 9 minutes, then at least on the East Coast, he'll remain undefeated for the day. He won his Zelda I randomizer tournament race earlier on today.
Yeah, I don't know how we'd count that, because he is technically on the West Coast, but the restream is on the East Coast. So.
Yeah, we want to preserve his... we want to give him one. We want to preserve his undefeated streak.
Right.
So we'll
Fair enough.
Greenwich Mean Time, how about that? It's already ended. So, but you see, BGT has a more wait for the Mew to move strategy when he's going through this, as opposed to Rez, who just jumps and reacts to where he is on the ground. Not the wrong thing to do, mind you. It's always more beneficial to be safer than sorry.
Yeah, you can usually afford 1 or 2 deaths in this game, but you don't really want to. You don't want to have to risk stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder how much it gets on players' minds if they take a death where they normally wouldn't take a death, like Rez did. Like, BGT really took a death where he wouldn't have taken a death normally either. And I wonder how much that plays... Oh, he almost got...
Yeah, he does not care about this Mew. Keep jumping on him. I mean... Yeah, I don't know. I've seen a lot of early deaths, actually, already, and I don't think it's happened to me in any of my races yet. Tourney races, at least, but it's happened to me in races, and I guess you just... If it's early enough, you have that extra 1-up you can get, I guess. You just kind of buckle down a little bit and make sure not to try to take another one.
Or like you said, in Palace 4, you just do one less of the...
Yeah, you can just skip.
Yeah.
The first one is free to skip. You never need to take that one. And you can... There are ways, if you conserve your magic, you can easily skip the second one. The third one, you don't want to go into assuming you're going to skip it, because if you don't get a red jar in there, you're going to have to take a death anyway to refill the magic.
So Rez gets down stab. He gets the fairy spell, and the fairy spell is very important in this category. Why don't you give us a little how-to on the fairy spell?
Fairy can do pretty much anything. Turns Link into a small fairy. Can fairy through doors without keys, but you can't do that in this category, unfortunately, so we won't see that.
So that was a debate we had earlier where can you not do it in this category, or do you have to just go pick up the key afterwards? I mean, obviously it's not going to be a time saver at all since you have backtrack.
I'm not positive, but I believe the rule is you actually have to... you can fairy through a door, but you have to have the key that it opens it, so you actually will open it with the fairy.
Right.
I don't think... Yeah, because there are places where it would be beneficial to fairy through a door and get the key later. I think it would save time. I'm not sure. I could be wrong about that, but...
Yeah, that's one of the debates, along with is the ceiling walk a glitch, because... no one knows if it was intended
the ceiling
in the
walk
regular
is just
game.
adorable, and it literally saves like 1 second or less of, a door opening.
Look at Rez's walk right to Palace, too.
He actually probably could have kept going straight there. He didn't realize the encounter was kind of backing off, but he still gets in. That was nice.
But he's the first one in Palace 2. bentglasstube is going to make his way to the Medicine Cave here. Fairy also reduces the humble brag animation that Link does when he picks up an item. So you'll see the runners use that, cast Fairy, and run into the items to save some time as well.
Yeah, there's lots of little neat tricks with the Fairy. I mean, it can get you out of sticky situations too. You don't want to have to use it for that, but since you have full control over, you just fly anywhere on the screen. You can't really fall into lava or anything. There's a few places you might see the runner Fairy over lava that they don't necessarily need to, but just to be safe. Or cast it to save themselves from about to be falling in lava, stuff like that, so...
But Rez is going to make his way here through Palace 2. Palace 2 has 4 keys. The item in the palace is the glove, which lets you break certain blocks with your sword. And it's needed to get through Palace 2 to defeat the boss Helmet Head.
Yeah, Rez already has attack 5 too, and he's going to be getting his life 3 probably before he even wants to have to take it. Because he got so much XP from pbags.
Yeah, and this is where your XP starts to have diminishing returns, because you want to keep yourself in a set leveling scheme to maximize all the gains later on at the gems when you place a gem in palaces, and in certain places where you can take a magic level up to refill your magic and such like that. Does it ever happen where I guess the temptation may be there if you start getting all the pbags, but what's the most erratic you can get with your leveling scheme where you would take something out of order?
Oh, well, I when I started running, I thought, I was like trying to think of ways you could do that, but it actually, like, there's really no, like, we normally don't take magic 3 in here, and I'm thinking, like, why don't we just take magic 3 in here and kill extra stuff or whatever, but it just wastes time, so, and it's not even really that beneficial to have some of the levels that early. The way the game is laid out, you have enough magic at the low levels to do what you need to do, basically. So there are a few different leveling routes, certainly, that kind of favor, like, having magic 4 in Palace 4 is certainly way better than having magic 3, and depending on whether or not you do 887 or 886 final leveling will determine what you have in P4, so... But yeah, generally that stuff's not going to matter too much. I guess it depends on the runner, though. Some runners, like, don't really think attack levels are that important, as opposed to life levels. And some runners are the other way around. They'd rather have... Like, you see Rez didn't even take life 3 yet. But BGT took it in Death Mountain.
And Rez casts Fairy, even though he had the key, so he didn't do the Fairy through the door. He just did it to stop the humble brag animation when Link goes to pick up the glove and shows everyone that he got it.
Yeah, it's maybe a 2 something second save or less, I guess, if you include the menu to cast it.
Yeah, then you can do it several times over within the game. And,
yeah, it all adds up for sure.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely, because you look at the differences between some of the runners on the leaderboard, and 2 seconds, 4 seconds, 6 seconds would make a world of difference in some of the areas.
Yep.
Overall, bentglasstube is now in Hammer Container Cave as VRez is on his way to Helmet Head here in Palace 2.
He got the jar drop he wanted, so he's got full life, full magic. Ideally, he won't have a refill after the boss. It's just a little bonus. You obviously don't need that jar there. He doesn't need a pbag either. It's nice to get, though. He's not going to have that full refill anymore. A little trouble there at the end. That Stalfos that was there, that was in his way, is usually actually not there.
Yeah, he's normally despawned by the earlier enemies and the bullets that are coming out of the statues.
Yeah, but depending on the way you move through that first room, there usually is a hesitation because of that first Stalfos. It can end up spawning the third one. It happens to me a lot, and it is annoying.
You were talking about runners not putting like that much of a priority or not considering higher attacks even, I don't even know how you worded it, but some runners would not care about a higher attack more than other stats. You see that in randomizer a lot.
Yeah, that's what I think a lot of the randomizer players actually feel that way because they're used to not needing it, and that's totally understandable. I mean, if you want to finish the run with attack 7 and you're comfortable with that, by all means.
Yeah, and that's where you see despawns in rooms as well, like that Stalfos despawning. Just going through a room and then you turn right around and all of a sudden something's in your face. You're like, oh, wait, you weren't there earlier on. And then you get to learn like which rooms have like an additional enemy that you possibly never see, depending on how you handle the first part of the room. It's actually really unique to play and play it backwards almost to see that stuff. But here is the helmet head fight, the boss fight of Palace 5. Rez knocks him into the middle of the room and then gets a couple double hits on him, and there he goes.
That was kind of... It was going badly, and then he just completely shredded him at the end there.
And there is the gem at Palace 2 at 29.55.
Yeah, he's on pretty good pace. He had, actually, since he lost the initial time, I think his first split is entering Palace 1. He has, like, literally not lost any time since he entered Palace 1 on his splits, so... pretty much leveled it off.
Seems like with everyone's PB, there's always time to save somewhere in some split. Where is that with Rez? Do you know?
I believe he has a lot of time leaving Palace 2, so right now, I think. He already took 2 encounters, I think, though. This will be the second, or the first road encounter.
He's gonna take that road encounter.
So we'll call that 3.
Yeah.
I don't know how bad it was in his PB though. That might have been about the same. He doesn't have a split. Oh yeah, he does have a split here. We'll see. We'll see where he's at.
He's going to go through this screen and wind up on the island with Palace 3 as well. Palace 3 has just the island of Palace 3 has just, you normally get two counter spawns on it. You hesitate to get the first one and react to it, and then the second one is normally non-consequential unless you have to dodge around the first one. And there we go. We're in Palace 3 here, so...
And he did save like 11 seconds, excuse me, on that split, even with basically 3 encounters.
So Palace 3 also has 4 keys. The item is the raft, which you're going to use after Palace 3 to get to the eastern continent of Hyrule and for the rest of the game. And the boss is Rebonek, which is like an easily cheesable fight, but for some reason I don't think Rez is going to cheese it. I feel like he's the kind of guy to knock him off the horse.
Yeah, I don't think Rez... I don't know. He might... We'll see. He won't do the full corner strats, if anything, but I don't think he'll do them at all. He usually just goes for the, as if he had attack 8 in Palace 6 strats.
Rez gets the BGT key there. You don't want to forget that one.
The BGT key?
Yeah, BGT forgot in his race against you.
Oh, right! Yeah. Ooh, Rez almost missed that jump.
Yeah.
Rez, 4-tile jumps are his arch nemesis.
He's too cool to use jump in that screen. Well, we see a lot of runners use jump in that screen. A lot of them cast it early, but then a lot of them cast it either in the second half of the screen or just after they fall, and then you can openly hear them complain, like, why didn't I just cast it to start?
Yeah, if you're going to cast it, just cast it at the beginning. Yeah. I mean, you can most of the time get through that without jump, without stopping anyway, but if the Muse get in your way, you might as well just, if you're going to cast it anyway, you might as well just cast it.
Yeah, Rez is working on this room pretty beautifully right there. No bots really giving him trouble.
Good timing on his jumping stabs. He won't be able to grab that jar. He's going to fairy and get his magic level right there. It's a good little XP manipulation.
Yeah, it's one of the things I was saying before, where taking different levels would upset the balance at the gem, and it also upset the balance at screens like this, where you can kill an enemy and then cast fairy, and then get your refill on the magic level up as well. So...
yeah, so he's set now. There is another jar chance in the palace, but I don't even think he'll check for it.
BGT is still making his way here through Palace 2, and I believe he's at the last key here.
I don't know how Rez just did it, but he despawned the wolf head that's normally by that elevator, and I really want to know how he did that.
Yeah, because those polar bears are the dumbest things in the game. And
yeah, that one by that elevator specifically is like the worst one in the game.
It's guaranteed damage.
Yeah, basically, unless I mean, it's not too tough of a strat, but the amount of times I've messed it up blocking his first beam, and then once you get hit once, he'll just keep hitting you over and over.
Especially in rooms like this. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anyone get through this room without taking a hit, because those guys are the most unbalanced enemy in any video game ever.
Yeah, their motion is so static, but it's like weird and hard to read for some reason. I don't know how to explain it. Rez needs to kill this guy and make sure he gets the XP. Okay, he did. Yeah,
the boss gives you 301 XP. Rez is going to need to be at, what is that, 399 XP?
Yeah, 399, so... And I know that wasn't his drop, so he probably knew that too. His drop was on back in the raft room.
I'm sorry, the what room?
The raft room.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where his count. I'm trying to think of where his count is. Ideally, you want to start in Palace 3, trying to set up a drop for Palace 5 right after Eco Key, in case you miss it, and you get a chance for a red jar. I don't know if he's actively going to be setting that up or not, but...
We're going to have simultaneous gemming here.
Yeah, different palaces, but same screen.
It's a bedazzle party happening. We can call this, pretty much, Rez has a 6-minute lead here on BGT.
Yeah, give or take. It's a large lead. Now good island spawn for Rez.
He's going to make his way back through this cave and then head on over to the raft spot, the pier, the port, whatever you want to call it, and head on over to the eastern continent. What's the walk like from arriving at waking up in the eastern continent to Nubaru? Because I see different people go different ways.
Yeah, that's another one where you gotta hope you get a good initial spawn. So if he gets a spawn where there's enemies below and to the right of him, it's like the worst thing. I usually always take an encounter when that happens, unless I get lucky and they move out of the way. Other than that, if they spawn above you and to the right, you just go down. Yeah, that one he just got, and he just takes an encounter. There's nothing you can do with that one.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
And it just feels like, I can already picture Rez, just saying, like, of course.
Yeah, and now he's going to have to dodge another 2, which he can't, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that's 2 encounters on the short walk to Nubaru there, but I don't know if you noticed it. Both players went in and out of King's Tomb at the same time.
I didn't see that, no.
It was actually pretty cool, yeah.
BGT's farming this jar real quick.
Yeah.
You got it.
I mean, if I was playing this game, I'd probably farm there to like 887 or something before continuing. But, these players are pros, even BGT.
Yeah, I mean, even though BGT is this far behind Rez, definitely don't take it lightly.
Well, game over in a bad place. Rez gets unlucky, game over, and the rules of the tournament dictate that if you take the game over, you got to come back into the screen you took the game over in. So depending on what screen that is and Rez's progress, that can really BGT back into it here. But there's at least one more one-up on the way that Rez is going to take. I was gonna mention the fact that he just picked up the water to give to that lady to get the 5th spell of the game, Fire. And that I love this question because I love just thinking about it and like, wait, I didn't know this until like 8 months ago. But did you ever know that there was a magic container requirement on the spells in the game? Like, especially when you first played the game?
I mean, when I first played the game as a kid, I never even got to P3, I don't think, until I was much older and had the help of the internet. But, I don't think I knew the magic requirements until I started running it, and because of Randomizer, actually, I didn't... Does that one have a requirement, too? Because I don't even know if I knew if that one had a requirement. I knew the one in Hidden Town has a, 7 jar requirement, I think.
Yeah, it's 7 for New Kasuto, and also to get the 8th jar to get the Thunder Spell in Kasuto. And like if you're looking at the game,
Oh, that's right. Yes. Okay.
yeah, if you're looking at the game top down, you might even wind up in Kasuto on your first playthrough, blind playthrough, before you even in New Kasuto. So that's the first time where the guy's like, I cannot help you.
Yeah.
At this time, or whatever he says. But yeah,
Yeah, if you
randomizer.
just cross that bridge and go there. Yeah, that's a good point.
Traditional flags and randomizer, ones that most people run all the time, disable the magic container requirement. So if you find an early raft, you can go right to the other side, find Kasuto, and at 4 magic containers still get the spell.
Yep.
There is an option to disabling the magic container requirements, and then there you need 8 for Kasuto, 7 for New Kasuto, and so on. All right, Rez is doing the dazzle walk here, so
I like how he keeps breaking forest tiles with his hammer.
yeah.
I never remember to do that swag move.
See if he gets a nice movement there. I don't know if he hit up there.
He got it. I
Did he?
saw it
Okay.
move like 1 frame. Yeah, he got it. Oh, but he moved right. He moved right. Oh, man. I feel for him. I literally did that in a run maybe 2 days ago. But except mine was coming out of Reflect Town. I moved left.
He's going to set up the second skip here. So the most optimal thing is, well, he misses that as well. So he missed both encounter skips.
Yeah, and he's going to try it again instead of going for it. He does get it, so that actually does save a little time. I'm usually in the camp that if you miss it and accidentally walk into the encounter tile, the bubble screen or whatever, you should just walk it. Because you could end up in that loop where you just keep trying and keep missing over and over again,
Semi hits BGT takes in this room. That's 1 so far.
Yeah, no upstab in here either.
There's 2.
Oh, he got out.
There's a question in chat. Is it possible to encounter skip if the overworld enemies are moving towards you from behind, going the same way you want to go? And the answer is yes, right? But how do you set that up?
It is possible. It's almost impossible, though, at the same time. Nobody really tries to set those up. I mean, you can get them it usually will happen if you're pause buffering and you just happen to get the pause. I believe the encounter probably has to be 1 frame behind you, and then you have to start moving, and then they will catch you as you're going onto the tile. It also, I think, depends on what part of the overworld you're in. If the encounters move a little faster or slower, like if they spawn in right away, and start moving versus when they hesitate. It's really tough. We call them back skips, but you almost never see them. So
yeah, I didn't mean set it up. I mean, what are the situations where that would happen?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the most common place to see one is Valley of Death, because you often get back spawns, which is unfortunate, but sometimes you have to just try if that's your only hope. But it's pretty. When you see them, it's pretty hype because you almost never see them.
So BGT went back for that blue iron knuckle, and I'm not entirely sure he needed to, because he got 150 from it. He would have been at 7. I guess he did need to, because he would have been at 750 whatever, and 800 is for life 5. So
he's doing 887. I'm guessing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that could be the case here, because he does have life 4. Reznor does not. I know that last year's tournament BGT was new to the category, and I think he was using a way outdated approach to the game that involved maybe even going into 4 for the boots first, and then coming out.
Yes, that's because that's still the route that's posted on Red Candle.
Yeah.
As the all keys route. I don't know why. I asked Prez why that's still the route that's posted there, and he gave me a reason, but I forget what it was. I think maybe it's still better for beginners to do it that way or something, I guess. But
oh, so kind of like a blue
that is what they used to do, because it was assumed to be faster, but it's not.
Kind of like a blue candle route in Zelda 1, where a blue ring route in Zelda 1, where it's just easier for new players to complete the game and get a speedrun under their belt.
Yeah.
Doing it that way, yeah. So Rez picked up the magic container on Maze Island. That's magic container number 7. That will let him get the spell in New Kasuto and the 8th magic container in New Kasuto. And then he walks in such a way on Maze Island where he only takes this one encounter. And then it's a free walk right to 4. BGT, on the other hand, is finally on the Eastern Continent, and he's going into New Baru to get the fire spell. So still a big difference here in time and distance. Anything tricky here in 4? Like, Rez is down that life, but he picked up 2 1-ups along the way.
I tend to think 4 is one of the, other than the boss of 4, it's one of the most consistent palaces generally, once you know how to play the game. And he'll just skip the first death abuse, which is no problem. He's gonna, lose a little bit of time doing that. He might check for the red jar so he can still cast fairy on the item, but not taking the death abuse loses 3 seconds or so he'll be fine. Everything else is pretty set up in here unless you accidentally miss one of the jumps or just take a bad death, I guess, in lava or something.
Yeah, and that happened to a top runner in last year's tournament. He missed the jump towards the boots, or he missed the platform to drop in to get the boots.
Yeah, Rez wasn't even messing around there. He cast it on the crumble bridge since he knows he's skipping this anyway, I think. Unless he surprises us all and takes it anyway. I assume he'll just check for the jar, and even if it's not there, he took it. Look at this guy. Maybe he forgot. Maybe he forgot that he already died once. Or maybe he's just going to skip a different one.
Well, he is
possible too.
Yeah, he is +1 on lives from the start of the game, since he died once in Palace 1 and then picked up 2 1-ups along the way.
Yeah, but normally we want to leave this palace minimum 2 lives, and he's still got 2 death abuse. 2 death abuses left with 3 lives left, so
yeah,
we'll see. If he fairies this item, I'll know a little bit more. I don't know. Did he queue it? I didn't. Oh, yeah, he's fairying it. Wow. He's going to take the second death abuse, too. He kind of has to. So, this interesting move by Rez. I legitimately wonder if he forgets that he died. Or if he just is that confident where he's just going to beat the rest of the game with 1 life.
So
I
at Magic,
think you bank everything on a red jar drop in the last death abuse room.
Yeah, because at Magic level 3, Reflect costs 80 MP, and you need Reflect to beat the final boss of this palace, and that is 5 full life Magic bars. So he's going to need almost a full complement of Magic by the time he gets there. And he could just cast 1 jump spell. The required one, he has to cast jump to get the key. Yeah.
It's coming up in a minute or 2, and then he could not, he could just not cast jump in the last lava room and not take that death abuse, but I don't expect that. Not casting jump in that lava room is not fun.
Yeah, you can cast 1 jump, but then we need a blue jar somewhere to cast that second jump. And still have
exactly. No, he would need 2 blue jars, I think, right? Yeah, it's 2 bars of magic for jump, so...
Unless I'm doing my math.
You can cast jump once and reflect once with...
That's 96. That would leave him with 16, I think, right? Because he's got 10...
No, that would be... It's 5 bars plus 2 bars.
Oh, I'm sorry, 5 plus 2, yeah. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 2. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, I am dropping frames and I don't know how.
Frames, please.
Yeah, normally that happens if you leave Steam open, but I was very cautious to close Steam before we started this restream, and it might have just been a momentary lull in the thing. But I do see I'm having a problem, so I will be uploading this VOD to Twitch so everyone can enjoy it without frame drops.
There's the jump cast. He also got hit by a bubble, so he actually doesn't have enough MP anymore for reflect. So he would need that blue jar, but I still think he's just gonna either take the death or check for the red jar. I don't know. Rez is surprising me. Like he cast that jump on the crumble bridge as a safety, so he wouldn't fall in the hole and lose a bunch of time. But if he's going to finish the whole end of the game with 1 life, I'd say that's a lot less safe. so I don't know.
Any chance he's gonna take an attack 9 for a 1-up down the line?
Oh God.
That would
I
really
sure
screw
hope
up
not.
your magic and life
Yeah.
levels right there.
Well, if you're gonna take attack 9, it would be better to take it either now or at P5 than after P6. Just so you can kind of make a lot of it back up.
Well, here's the determining factor here. Is
Yeah.
he gonna get the red jar? He's not
No,
even
he
gonna try
didn't even check for it.
Yeah, he didn't check for it. Queues up Reflect, and he's gonna be on his way to the boss. BGT is gonna do the walk back. Gets to troll Carrot. Carrot avoids him. Avoids the second encounter, which is nice. Spawns the third one in the grass, but then hits it.
To be fair, he can take an intentional game over once he gets to Great Palace, so he doesn't have to do the rest of the entire game
Right.
with
That
one
is
life.
with-
But if like one death right now is really gonna cost him time and XP and all that stuff, like if you die at the end of a palace or something like that, you gotta go through that whole thing again, get your XP back up, and
Well, he might want to cast Shield along with Reflect at Carrick once he gets settled down in the corner of the screen, just in case he gets jumped on a couple times.
yeah, I expect him to at least. He might not cast it initially, but if he gets hit, he might just queue it up and cast it.
When the
If
more
we have a bad enough Karok, BGT might make it to P4 before Rez leaves.
if he has a bad enough Carrick, BGT might be a Carrick before Rez leaves.
Yeah, that was not a great Karok. Wasn't horrible, but not what you're looking for.
But yeah, just to mention what Justin said before is there's only one place in the game where you can take an intentional game over, and that's once you arrive in Great Palace, you can go right back up the elevator, jump into the barrier, and game over. The game over will start you back in Great Palace, and then you can continue on there with the full complement of lives. Otherwise, you'd have to revisit the area where you did take the game over. And if that happened,
BGT just unfortunately died to that 50-50 Iron Knuckle.
yeah, it's the same thing we saw Highlander do yesterday, where it down pogoed the statue. And
He might
spawned
not
it
have
back.
even meant to do that. Yeah, because he was like halfway through it and just down stabbed it.
He might have been looking for a red jar there.
That's true, yeah.
Just to catch
In
up
which
on
case,
life.
I would tell him always just do a falling stab on it from the front.
Yeah, because he did get bodied a little bit in that one encounter in Maze Island from the Tektite. So Rez is setting up the Eco Key jump there and nails it perfectly.
Yeah, he even got the bubble to do that weird thing that he does sometimes.
You ever get enemies to do that on the collapsible bridge behind you?
No,
Yeah,
that's something weird happened.
Yeah, you can normally in the Crumble Bridge room just before Thunderbird in Great Palace, what we refer to as the Enchantress of Numbers room in Randomizer. If you get different enemies to spawn, like a bot behind you, and it's moving towards you, and it's crumbling, the bridge is crumbling, it's almost like surfing on the crumbling bridge, and it just kind of just like skates along. It's awesome.
See how good of a block room Rez gets here. Oh, he's got a chance. Nope. Rejected by Matumbo. Still pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Just the initial rejection.
I mean, even with the initial rejection and the key grab, sometimes you're still standing there waiting for the opportunity to even jump up.
Yeah, that was a good pattern overall. We'll take that. Anyone will take that on a. If he was actually on good pace, he'd certainly be happy with that.
Yeah. All right, BGT is at the boots here. He was not able to get off a fairy cast before taking Magic 4.
Yeah, he does have the luxury. So this is the difference with 887. He's got Magic 4 in this palace, and Reflect is only 3 bars of magic instead of 5. So he doesn't really have to take pretty much any of the death abuses. You might see him take one. I don't know if he'll maybe take the second one or something, or just the third one.
I didn't notice if he took the first one or not.
I doubt he did, since he already especially died to the Red IK at the beginning of the palace. He's at 4 lives now, so that's actually normal. Like right now, even if he had entered the palace with 5 and then taken the first death abuse, that's what normally would happen in a run. Although BGT normally, I would assume, still takes the graveyard one up, so he might normally enter this palace with 6 lives.
So
but he's fine. He should be in good shape. So
just to we have a race here: VReznor versus bentglasstube. Rez is in the item room in 5 here. He'll pick up the flute. But just to give an update on BGT versus his own PB, there's a potential. Oh, I'm sorry. He's about a minute down. I looked up, and the way his splits were, it said -4 minutes. But that's on the current split right now that he's not at the end yet.
But
so.
He's still, even if he's only a minute down, I know he's got a lot of time saved just at the end of the game.
Yeah.
His PB was in his race against me, actually, in this tournament, and I watched the end of it because I had already finished. And yeah, I think he just swagged it out on Dark Link, fought him straight up and everything. I think he had a really bad Valley of Death too, if I can remember correctly, so he's probably got minutes to save just at the end of the game.
Well, this is not the first meeting between Rez and bentglasstube. In fact, they played in last year's tournament. Rez won, and Rez's time is going to surprise you. It was 88 minutes and 48 seconds.
Yeah, back when Rez played on an emulator still.
Yeah, and BGT had 107 minutes and 46 seconds. But in the overall VReznor versus BGT battle and series, bentglasstube actually has the lead 2-1, winning both of their randomizers, Zelda II randomizer race encounters. Other people were involved in the race, but bentglasstube had a better time than Rez in both of them. So there is one more opportunity where they could have raced, and that would be in the SHI tournament for the game for Season 4, Yume Penguin, but we're going to have to hold up while I check that fact. And personal plug, Season 5 is coming up pretty soon, and over on twitch.tv/BuzzThunder, BuzzThunder will be picking the drawing for the brackets, or for the group selection in about 4 minutes. So if you're interested in that, you can go ahead and watch his VOD, but stay here for the end of this race first.
I'm not positive, but he might have raced BGT in Yume Penguin.
It is a possibility. I'm looking it up right now.
I did watch a few of those races, and I could be wrong, but one of them might have been that.
Actually, no, I am wrong, because VReznor, that was his first season, and he was in the cesspool, what we call the bottom bracket, and
yes.
BGT was in the upper decker. So yeah, there's a lot of poop puns.
Well, BGT just fell into some sort of pool of lava. He didn't have jump for this room, which is what I was saying earlier. It's a terrible room to not have the jump spell for. Gets the jar, doesn't grab it. He's gonna go grab it.
Yeah, he's gonna more than 2 cycle that. We'll call 2.5 cycle that red jar. As VRez makes his way through 5. I mean, 5 is just the worst of the worst palaces for this category, or any category of this game, really. It's just so long.
Yeah, 5's pretty long. Actually, I believe 4 is maybe longer, but it just doesn't seem like it.
It's just more interesting. 2 is pretty long as well, but you don't really go through every room in 2.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
5 is just confusing when you're learning it, I think, as well.
Yeah, there are things to do in 4, like death abuse and maintain your magic and stuff. A lot of 5 is just skipping enemies and walking through rooms.
Yeah, and dealing with magos. Comes Guma.
I remember there was a time where VRez could not get through Mago Room and had to cast Shield in every single one of them. It's pretty awesome.
When I started watching Rez, we would all Shield was his thing. That was what he would do. It was
now he's like, "Oh, look at me, I'm top 3."
Cast Shield in that room was his catchphrase.
Yeah, that's why I cast Shield. That's every time. But now he's like, "Oh, look at me, I got a top 3 time, and I order big pizzas from Virginia and don't need to cast Shield anymore." That's him. That's his voice too, by the way. But he places the gem in 5. He's gonna queue up here the experience to go up. Probably take magic 4-5, life 5-6, and life 5-6. But he'll be doing it in the next encounter.
Yeah, which ideally will be skipping over a forced encounter, but it might end up just being an encounter before he gets to the tile he wants to get to. We'll see what happens. Meanwhile, BGT just had an amazing Karok.
Yeah. And Rez got the skip there.
Yep.
Got the River Devil. Grabs the 2 magic levels, the 2 life levels, and he'll be heading on to 2 more forced encounters on the road, and then the walk to Bonner Pass. Actually, he did not get the skip. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he didn't get it, I guess. I actually looked away for a quick second at that Karok fight because I heard a lot of hits happening. But he's just going to walk it, going to eat his lumps. Or I guess take them. Do you eat them? I don't know what you do with lumps.
If they're in mashed potatoes, you can definitely eat them, yeah. For sure.
Yeah, lumps of sugar or something. That's actually like a good thing.
Yeah, no. Yeah, if you get one of them, like if you have a nice bowl of Total cereal and you try to make it into Frosted Flakes by just dumping in the sugar from Grandma's Sugar Bowl, and you get a nice lump right in with a couple flakes, it's pretty good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I couldn't eat cereal like that without a ton of sugar on it.
You ever put so much sugar in your cereal that when you go to drink the milk out of the bowl, it's just like there's just crystallized sugar on the bottom, and that's all you drink at the end?
I actually, honestly, don't use a lot of milk, so by the time I'm done with my cereal, it's all like already gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it kind of soaks into the cereal.
I mean, both these, like, you know, I know we're supposed to pay attention to this race and all, but both VReznor and bentglasstube love a good cereal discussion. We do it all the time in the SHI tournament.
Well, what's your favorite cereal then?
My favorite cereal is I like a Cocoa Pebbles, but just go along with what you're saying is I like Cocoa Pebbles with not a lot of milk. I like
any of the Pebbles cereals, you can't put a lot because they will just turn into mush.
Yeah, and that's why I don't like Cocoa Krispies, because I feel like Cocoa Pebbles remains consistent with not going soggy, but...
Yeah, Rice Krispies and Cocoa Krispies are probably the worst, but ironically, my favorite cereal is actually Rice Krispies Treats cereal, if you've ever had that.
Oh, yeah, it's like candy crack.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That stuff is amazing. But it's hard to find nowadays for some reason.
It is.
And specialty markets to get it.
Speaking of, Oreo O's came back, and we picked up a box of those the other day, and my god, it's you want it to be good, but it doesn't really taste like chocolate, and it doesn't make the milk chocolatey either. It's almost like, you know, costume jewelry, where it's like not real stuff.
Chocolate cereal really has to be done right. I got almost any fruity cereal I'll eat, but chocolate cereal has got to be the right one. Like, I like Cocoa Pebbles, but I don't like Cocoa Puffs.
Looking in chat right now, John Wayne is a Cocoa Puffs guy, maybe? Or he's just talking about how much chocolate
Yeah, I can't do the Puffs.
Yeah.
The Pebbles are good.
Captain
the
Crunch.
And the Puffs, though, not so much.
I can go along with some Crunch Berries. CF likes Crunch Berries.
Oh, Crunch Berries are amazing.
Yeah. Cut the roof of your mouth, kind of good.
Cut the roof of your mouth.
Yeah, exactly. DM says Captain Crunch is top tier, and Alan Heffley from the University of Kentucky, he likes having his Fruity Pebbles sit a little bit, but that's because he is a Fruity Pebble, like John Cena.
Well, if you just pour enough milk so it just kind of gets the bottom layer of the Pebbles, and then you kind of like, after a minute, you like mix up the whole bowl, then the milk is like gone, but it's already like on all the cereal. You know what I mean?
I have a bad experience with... I guess some people have this with food and certain types of beverages when they're lower in age. Like I had strawberry shortcake cereal one time, and after I ate it, I like dig shaked strawberry shortcake cereal for like 2 days, and like ever since that experience, I can't have like a overly fruity kind of cereal anymore. Crunch Berries is probably like the limit.
Yeah, it's probably psychological because of the binge.
Pause wants to know what's wrong with Cheerios, and I would say I am not 70 years old or 3 years old, so I'm not going to have Cheerios put on this table in front of me and try to pick them up in my hand and put them in my mouth every 7 minutes.
I'll eat Cheerios, but again, cover them in sugar first.
Cheerios are kind of like goldfish. Like if they're in front of me and like in a bowl, like maybe I'll start eating them. But like it's not something I go to the store for or something I open a closet and want, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, by the way, Rez is done with New Casino and he's on his way walking towards the last heart container in the game.
That encounter that he just took there was from the back. That would have been a back skip. But of course, he wasn't trying to take it. He was trying to slink. And he went like a frame late on the pause, the second slink. He got the first slink.
Vader says Larry likes the plain, huge shredded wheat, and I think he's talking about the bricks that come in like those brown paper bags. So let me tell you what, I do. With like a huge heaping of peanut butter on top of them. Like when I work out, sometimes that would be part of my diet. Just like
peanut
bricks.
Butter.
Yeah,
on
bricks.
Cereal?
Yeah, it's just you get the protein, man. You get the shredded.
I guess
meat.
actually, yeah, that wouldn't probably be bad. I don't know. I'd probably just do the peanut butter and the cereal though without the milk. I feel like that'd be weird.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm just eating it dry. Eating the brick
yeah,
dry with the peanut butter on top, like it's almost like a pastry.
Rez almost fell in the infinite hole there. A little fancy footwork though.
There was a
reverse
race
jumping up the stairs. Pretty swag.
One of the races I did in the last Zelda II randomizer, Rez was doing commentary, and in that room I went to jump for the I cast jump and I went to jump up there to kind of see if I can get a red jar, and I stabbed the wall and bounced right back into a hole, and he made fun of me for like an hour. I also spent like 27 minutes in Palace 6 looping around, but it was pretty awesome. So I was hoping that happened to him so I could make fun of him, but nope, that's off my list.
Nope.
Nope.
But he didn't go for the hot P6 strats, instead opting to try to beam that bubble and missed both times he tried.
The one
Had
thing
to cast jump.
You know, the one thing I feel a little bit bad about during the serial conversation is I wanted to see if bentglasstube went for Eco Key or not, because there was a time, I guess it was last tournament, where he tried it, or he tried it he tried it somewhere. Maybe it was in a randomizer race, and it was the first time he ever tried it, and he nailed it. So ever since then, he tried it every time and missed.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, I don't want to say it's not a hard trick, but it's not like as hard as it seems. It's just harder because it's so far into the run, and especially if you're on a good pace, it's like a lot of pressure to hit it. If you miss it, you lose a lot of time because basically because you need to get magic if you miss it for the block room. So you have to do various things to get that back. It's a lot of risk. Rez got the jar.
When BTT just went to the pause menu there after getting the key, I thought he was going to up A. And I was like, I squeezed a little bit. A little clench going on.
You would have had to DQ him.
I could never DQ BGT. Somebody else would have to do it. I wouldn't have the heart to do it. But now we're Rez. We're going to go down. By the way, there is 0 natural keys on the ground in Palace 6. All the keys you're going to find are going to be on the 2 Reboneck refights and the boss.
Unless you're Breasticle. And your cart puts keys on the ground in Palace 6 for some reason. Oh, Rez! This is still his last life, so he had to do that right there.
Yeah.
Good save.
The fairy save in the unfortunate room where we call this the BGT room in Randomizer, by the way, because I once saw BGT die 11 times in a row in this room. But unfortunate.
He's just being careless, honestly. This is stuff he would yell at me. He's just being absolutely careless in this room. P6 lava room is not hard. But he doesn't care. I think he really just hates this run right now.
And with blocks on the, you have to break at the end of the room. You can't just fairy through it once you save and cast fairy.
Yeah.
So he had to go back outside, reset to spawn back his Link.
Yeah, it's probably close to 20 seconds of time loss, and he's also going to have to conserve. He has enough for the other fairy cast. He's going to try and not get hit. Actually, it doesn't matter. He won't have enough for jump on Barba. He does know the jumpless jackhammer, but... Oh, never mind. Everything I just said doesn't matter.
Yeah, he got that lucky red drop. Well, not lucky, but he got fortunate to get that red jar there.
Yeah, that was the literal only enemy that is dropping anything for him before he gets the boss, so... He had a 1 out of 6. It's just lucky his 6 count was right there and that it was a jar.
He's getting knocked around a little bit by that Reboneck. He's down to half life. He's got plenty of magic to cast life. He's got to have at least 40 at the end of this fight, and he certainly does have that to cast Fairy when he drops here.
Yeah, and I assume he will cast Jump now. I think he might still Jackhammer, but I don't know. I don't usually see Rez do the safe one cycle. But it's a little risky. If he dies and game over is right here. We're talking, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes of time loss.
And he's setting up for the Jackhammer.
Yeah, he did a pretty safe Jackhammer, though. Stayed on the left side there, didn't want to fall into the lava. You might want to cast Life. Coming up on a 3 cycle here. He's probably just laughing right now. It's probably gotten to the point where he's not even mad anymore. He's just laughing at himself.
He finally defeats Barba and heads on over to the gem in 6, and he'll be on his way to the town of Kasuto and then VOD thereafter. Meanwhile, BGT is on his way to New Kasuto, the Bonner Pass. Nice little pause buffer walk around there.
Yeah, that was good.
Little swirl action, ends with the swirl.
And by the way, Rez is still on a pretty amazing pace, even though he's had a lot of mishaps, obviously, and we've been hard on him, but he's almost plus 2.5 minutes on his splits, and he's still on pace to have a high 77.
Yeah, multiple deaths and still going to do a high 77, 78. Wouldn't everybody be fortunate to have that?
Yeah. It gets to that point where you're that good at everything else, you can afford to screw up things like that and just make it up. Or not, I don't know if he really has time to make up, but he certainly could just turn it back on and keep it steady, not lose any more time.
So the walk BGT is going to do here after New Kasuto, the walk down to P6. I'm probably wrong when I say this, but maybe not from my point of view, is I've never seen people do that walk, or at least find a way to do it as clean as possible. Where every other walk in the game, you can seem to get fortunate enough to do it very cleanly. Why is that one so hard?
That's kind of what I was saying earlier about it's harder to go under encounters than over them, and you're walking down on that one, so rather than... Like, we know where they spawn when we come out of the cave, so we always pause on that tile, but generally you don't want to try and walk around them. You want to try to do it what we call slinks, which is just walking straight down at them, but at the correct time. So you'll see them try to pause when the encounter's about halfway between the tile marker. It's somewhat precise, and then if they get the pause at the right time, they'll just go down, and you'll see the encounter kind of move right around them, and then back behind them, and just follow them.
Yeah,
it's really the best method, unfortunately. There's nothing like that, and the walk back to the maze from Reflect Town is a lot like that too. Like, it's just a lot of hoping you get good spawns and hoping you can slink past encounters.
I think the difference being that sometimes you can force the encounters on most of the tiles, on grass tiles, on the walk to the maze island, and it's all forest tiles, and you walk down to that heart container. But Rez isn't even casting spell here. He's just stunning the enemies, jumping through them when he needs to, and gets a nice and clean walk right to...
Yeah, he's probably mad about that. That was the first damage he took there, and he just finished Valley of Death, so... Really good Valley. Actually a gold split.
And there he arrives in Great Palace.
I actually didn't see if he might have gotten... Did he get one of the lucky counter skips that you normally don't get? I would have to guess maybe he did.
Well, you got an encounter skip where he walked right up to the tile and the guy spawned and walked right in front of him. I think that's the second one, not the first.
Well, sometimes, so like right when you first get in, and then also after the first tile skip, you kind of always take an encounter walking to the next tile skip, but sometimes you can get past them with some crafty dodges or just some lucky RNG.
BGT almost skips the heart container on his way out of that item cave.
Took the upper route to go to P6. It worked out for him.
But here's Rez. So where are your difficult parts here in Great Palace?
Honestly, once you learn Great Palace, it shouldn't be that hard, although it usually ends up being that way. For me, the worst thing about GP is the spicy chickens. It seems like every time I get hit by one of them, it invites them to hit me a few more times, so I lose a lot of health on like one specific chicken. Timing getting through them with their fireball randomness and their random hopping back and forth and stuff like that can be troublesome. But yeah, I mean, there is a lot of... I shouldn't say it's like easy or anything. All the Scott Bakula enemies do a lot of damage. They hit hard. But if you're patient, you learn how to deal with them. Generally with those enemies, you just want to stand there and wait for them to jump, and then you can just walk under them. So unless you get a really bad pattern.
Yeah, the infamous Scott Bakula room, though.
Yeah, Rez pulling up in there now.
Yeah, missing the jumps on the second half where the f.k.a doesn't follow you. When he follows you, like it's doing with Rez right now.
Yeah.
Could be devastating. You take a hit on the way up, maybe. On the way down, you get trapped there, and then you have to get momentum to get your jump. If you didn't break the blocks already, you got to break the blocks.
Yeah, those double block breaks he does when you're jumping to get all the way up to that. They're actually not that easy, but... Or, I shouldn't say they're not easy, but they're not... Like, it's not the series of inputs that you would think it would be just by watching it. It's kind of weird to learn. Once you learn them, they're pretty easy, though. And he's actually doing a really good job of making... He killed that red bird knight earlier because it jumped at him, and he's actually doing a really good job of making sure to not kill anything else. He wants to take his magic level right before Thunderbird, which he will. Still has his one life this whole time.
Hey, he did not take that game over.
Yep, and he's not even gonna refill his health. He's gonna fight Thunderbird with 3 bars, 3.2 we'll call it. I don't know, there's a little bit over there. Oh, okay, I can actually pause, hold on. I'll just pause for like 5 seconds.
Alright, so we're heading into the last fall room here. I just wanted to make sure that we weren't going to spoil anything for you guys at the fights in case anything happened. Because Rez is riding pretty low here on health. So Rez is entering the fight now in T-Bird's room. He queues up shield. Looks like he did something else. Jump, and now he's going to cast Thunder and see how he does here.
Yeah, he can afford 1 hit without dying. Really good fight.
Yeah, very good fight. And he's going to be on his way now to Dark Link in the end of the game here for him. Three bars of health, last life. I gotta imagine even in a game over, he'll make it right through Great Palace again anyway.
Yeah, he should be fine anyway. Did he queue up shield? It's not looking like he's gonna even bother casting it.
He does get hit there. Now he's gonna use it. Just like you said before on the Carrick fight.
Yep.
One more hit, and he jumps at him for a little bit of drama there. And there you have it. VRez wins the battle versus BGT, ties the series up at 2 games apiece. Over the course of multiple games, he's got a time of 77 minutes, 47 seconds, even though he died like 800 times.
Yeah, 77:40 on his timer, which is actually what he'll submit, I believe. We don't go by SRL time. SRL timing is bad.
Got to retime those frames.
Beat my PB. I'm disappointed, Rez.
That actually wasn't spoilers. I held it for a clear like 30 seconds after the fight. It's probably you guys buffered. I apologize for that on mobile. But there's nothing I can do other than wait like 5 minutes for that to happen. But I do apologize, but that is the end of the race for Rez. See if he wants to join us.
See what BGT does for this. Oh, he doesn't even cast jump, although he does have enough magic for it.
Yeah, I don't know what he'd be saving those extra magic points for.
He might just feel more comfortable fighting it without jump, I guess. Oh, he doesn't have enough XP. And this isn't going to be enough either.
No, I don't know. What do you normally do here if this happens? Because when you fall here...
I would just go and take Magic 7, finish 887. I don't know what he's doing.
He's just
he'll be fine. 887 or 877 is what I meant to say. Did I say 887? But yeah, 877. Yeah. It's not that bad. We'll see. We'll see how many... I don't remember how many lives he still has. I think he still has at least 3 lives, so he should be fine. Do it, BGT.
Yeah,
there you go.
He's going to head on over to Kasuda now. We'll see if we can get Rez in here to humble brag.
Humble brag.
So just an update on BGT versus VGT here. It looks like he is he's in the PB range area here, and he's actually going to be like 30 seconds, 35 seconds, 36 seconds ahead of PB pace. Again, that PB happened in his loss to you, Justin, at 93 minutes 2 seconds.
Yeah, he should be able to smash that right now, even with 877. He won't get any more levels, unfortunately. Unless he really wants Life 8 and he wants to farm for it. Be a hell of a farm. But he's fine. Magic 7, you have a little less you can cast for Thunderbird. Most of the other spells have already maxed out anyway on their spell costs. Jump still costs a little bit more right now by 4 magic points. It's 20 instead of... I'm sorry, it's 12 instead of 8.
Yeah, your big difference is at Thunderbird being afforded the luxury of casting additional spells.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll be able to cast Shield or Reflect, not both, and Jump if he wants.
Yeah, Thunder being at 100, and he's at 128 right now, so he'd have 28 left over, so it's Jump for 12, Shield for 16, or Reflect for 24. Or he can hold it all, and, well, he can't hold it all because life costs 50, my bad.
Yeah, you can't, unfortunately. I don't think there's any scenario where you can have life on Thunderbird.
114 total at level 8 for both Thunder and Life.
Oh yeah, I guess if you hold everything, but I feel like, if you're not gonna cast Shield, like getting hit once without Shield by Thunderbird is probably 1 life cast, so yeah. It's probably actually more than 1 life cast. It's probably more than 3 bars of health.
So you can see BGT making use of the spell through Valley of Death.
Getting a little antsy. Spell is actually just about as fast as doing what Rez did with the beams, but you drain all your magic, so there goes that blue jar right into the drink.
Yeah, and unlike Rez, BGT's not going to have that Magic 8 level up somewhere in Great Palace to help fill up somewhere.
Yeah. Keep forgetting to check his lives. Next time he pauses, I'll try check it, but either way, he should be okay. If he has to take an extra death or something to refill. He certainly is going to be on, like, PB pace entering the palace here, unless he gets really, really, really badly trolled on this last skip. He got it.
And there he is, heading into Great Palace at 1:24, 15, 16. Dark Magician notifying us he has 1 life. I don't know if that means one additional life. Okay, there you go. And he just flashed the menu right there again.
Wonder if he was doing that for us. But yeah, possibly. he only has the 2, so that is a little more troublesome than I thought it was going to be. I thought he had 3.
Wonder if he was queuing up Fairy just so he can get by this guy when he died.
Wonder if he'll take the game over now.
Probably more inclined to take the game over now, rather
Actually,
than...
no. You know what? No, because he probably actually wants to PB, and if he takes the game over,
count,
yeah. So he's still okay. I mean, as long as he can get to like the 1-up doll or the fairy, they're in the same area.
Or as long as he goes the right way. He almost took
that
a left
helps
there.
Too. He almost didn't go the right way. There's also the jar he can farm for, which hopefully he would get lucky enough to get it on the first try or second try, something like that. So, full magic, full life. He should be okay to get to where he needs to go. It's just a matter of how long it's going to take. He could even do safe things like what he's doing right now with this chicken.
Yeah, John Wayne brings up you can go left there. There are additional paths you can go through in this palace. The left there, you just kind of a zigzagging left, right, and then you take a long path to a drop room, actually. And you can take different paths. There are optional ways you can go. This is the more optimized route, I guess you can say. There's also another route you can take that involves, probably not in this category, but glitching over the L7 room, the room with the bubbles, one of the drop rooms that you normally access from the bottom. So,
yeah, the alt route, the task actually saves time, I believe, with it, but it's only like 3 seconds. Yeah. But it does require that basically frame perfect damage boost from a bubble on top of the ceiling.
Yeah, the rule in the randomizer tournament was that you can use that skip, but all participants must still kill Thunderbird and Dark Link. So if that room got you beyond Thunderbird, you couldn't just kill Dark Link and save time. You'd have to actually go back to Thunderbird. But this one doesn't there's no rooms in between in the normal route, so you can use that skip and then go to still wind up at Thunderbird. So.
Yeah, I think that route is allowed. DM is saying because it doesn't actually skip Thunderbird unless you do the like the fairy in the ceiling or whatever. I'm not sure exactly how that stuff works, but because when you do that, when you get onto that ceiling, it puts you, I believe, in the next room is like the room that you fall through with the king, like into the king bot room. I think that's the room it puts you in.
Yeah, I think there's 2 places in the any percent scroll lock category where you ferry on the bridge corridor room, the one to drop before the king bot room that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, you jump up there and
grabbing the fairy. I don't know if he's gonna grab the 1-up.
I would say probably not, because he already lost the race. If he does game over, he's just running against PB now.
Yep.
And he'll probably want to just do the PB instead of not wanting to go through the palace again. So give a little update. He's got like 4 minutes left, 4 minutes and 10 seconds left before.
Yeah, he's well on PB pace.
So that's the room from the top half that you'd have to hit off the Roz to get up there. Sometimes it's a little bit easier in randomizer because bubbles will spawn in that room, or boulders, or whatever they're technically called, and you can line that up better.
Oh, here we go. He can PB by probably over 2 minutes here if he has a good couple of fights.
And I clowned around with him a little bit, but he's not a bad player at all. He definitely can handle a Thunderbird fight. This is not like a fluke miracle by any stretch of imagination that he can PB. I mean,
no, yeah, he was at the end of my race. He was just messing around for sure. His race against me was an SRL PB by like 10 minutes, I think. Gets him out of pattern a little bit.
Turns off his sound for dramatic effect.
Yeah, he did say earlier, I think in Discord, that sometimes OBS drops his audio for some reason.
He had no magic for it. He pause. He has 0 magic left. Well, he's got like 2 or 3 MP. Yeah, that's GV USB 2 striking again. All right, BGT can't afford this guy to jump on to him. I can't really tell with that background and the shading. It looks like he's got 2.5 bars, but he is fine there.
Yep, good to go.
And we'll see if we can get these idiots in Discord now.
2 minute 25-second PB for BGT. Almost the sub 90 he's looking for. 6 seconds off.
Thunder at level 7 is 100.
Yeah.
So that's what we were, Justin and I were talking about before. When he casts Thunder, he had to have a full complement of magic to then back it up with any one of the other spells. But no more than one, and he had to be at full magic to do it. But yeah, there you have it. VRez comes out on top, and bentglasstube. I'm going to hope that this is long enough of a delay and say that BGT finishes with a time of 90 minutes and 45 seconds. There is a BGT marathon if you cannot get enough of BGT. We'll talk about that once he joins us in the post-race interview. It's something you don't want to miss. Hello, somebody there?
I think BGT might join. I don't know about Rez.
BGT loves to talk about BGT, and he'll probably even talk about himself as BGT. And he does like to talk to himself, so... See if we can get him in here. It's good race. It's always nice to see that it's one of the categories where, hey, BGT, how you doing?
Hey.
Congratulations on your PB.
Thanks.
Before
PB.
Yeah, before I roast you, do you want to talk about some of the better things you've done in that run?
Oh, one of my favorite things I did was fly into the lava as a fairy. That was definitely the highlight of that run for me.
Yeah, a couple of bad deaths, unfortunately, but... Still PB.
Yeah. And I don't know what happened. I guess I skipped too many enemies in Palace 6, and I needed like 35 more XP. So that was also pretty exciting.
Yeah, with 887, you need to kill a lot of stuff. I usually made sure I would kill stuff on the way to Palace 6, like a few orange Lizalfos.
Yeah, I think normally I take a lot more encounters on the way between 5 and 6, and that getting better at that has actually hurt me in the XP part. But I don't know, maybe I don't need to do 887 anymore because I didn't really struggle in GP with only Magic 7 anyway.
So
Yeah,
let's talk about your deaths there. What you took your first one in Palace 1?
No, I took my first one in Trophy Cave.
Trophy Cave, sorry. VRez actually did die in Palace 1. So I don't know if you were following along when you were racing.
Oh, no, I wasn't following along.
Yeah.
No, I took my first one.
I don't think, Rez
Trophy
died
Cave.
in, where did he die? He didn't die in P1, did he? No, he died in he died in some
bubble
water
bridge.
on the bubble.
The
He died
bubble
on the
encounter,
bubble
yeah.
screen.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, before P. You guys both died before P1.
Nice. Yeah, when I first started doing this category, I would often take 2 deaths before the end of P1, and then after a while I got it down to consistently only dying once before the end of P1. So now I seem to usually if the Trophy Cave doesn't go badly for me, I usually don't die before P1. But I did okay on lives. I mean, I killed Dark Link with very little life left, so maybe I didn't do great, but what can you do?
You used up all your luck prior to the race because you got no pbags. In the warm up, you got everything going for you. In this game, you had no pbags going into or exiting 1, and then you had to run 1 again. But
like that. According to my splits, that was about 2 minutes lost. So that was really frustrating too. Just kind of I was salty for the rest of the run.
Well, that's 2 PBs so far in your tournament races, so that's good.
Yeah, still haven't quite got my goal though, and Rez doesn't owe me $10.
Well, you have a lot of time to save now in certain areas where you decide to just die for no reason. But more important question: what's your favorite cereal?
My favorite cereal? It's probably Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That's what I'm gonna have to go with.
Good choice.
Is it though?
I like Cinnamon Toast Crunch a lot. Yeah, I'd put it in my top 5 actually.
Isn't that a cereal where you just have to keep eating it because it has like a little bit of a lingering aftertaste when you're done? It's good when you're eating it, and then it's just you're done with it, and it's just oh.
It does have a little bit of a it's sort of a film that coats your mouth after you're done eating it. I also like Crunch Berries quite a bit. That's a good one.
I feel. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, yep.
Oh, okay.
I agree.
I feel like I'm going to regret this question. But what kind of milk do you put in your cereal?
I like what % fat? What do you mean what kind of milk?
Yeah, what kind of milk? Whole milk, skim milk, 1%, 2%, or you're I use, Cowland's best skim milk plus soy with aloe. Kind of guy.
With aloe. No, actually, I just go out to the cow and squirt that directly onto my cereal.
Not even cold.
No, I use 2% like a normal
That's
person.
the part that annoyed Justin. It's not it's not the act of doing it or
warm milk, dude?
Or the direct unpasteurized milk going into your bowl. It's just it's not even cold.
No, I used to live across when I lived with my parents. I lived across the street from a dairy farm, and we would get fresh from the farm milk. So for a long time, I drank whole milk, and that's what I did on my cereal. But now I usually do 2%.
Yeah, I used to do 2%, and now I do whole because I used to hate whole milk for some reason. But I guess I let it grow on me. I don't really care though. I mean, milk is milk to me. As long as it's not skim milk, I can't stand skim milk.
Oh yeah, below 2% is just gross. 1% is pretty gross.
Yeah, I wouldn't go out and buy 1%, but I could probably deal with it.
Chat was definitely expecting you not to say something you can buy at a normal grocer. Soy or almond milk or that was pretty
come
much
on, you can buy that stuff at the normal grocer.
No,
maybe not in New York.
I mean, unless you're at Whole Foods or something and you have to tell everybody you shop at Whole Foods. But yeah, I don't like Whole Foods. I don't know if that came across right.
You can't say that on Twitch though. They're owned by the same people.
Well, my bad. You know what I can say on Twitch? There's a BGT marathon coming up. Do you want to plug that?
I mean, yeah, let's plug it. It's coming up on Thanksgiving Day, right? What time does it start?
If there's family you want to avoid, and you are a fan of bentglasstube, you can watch a BGT marathon on this channel. Most of the races bentglasstube has run in the Zelda II All Keys category, Zelda II Randomizer category, and in the SHI tournament, as well as a few other things. It's going to be all day Thanksgiving. When does it start? I don't know. I have to prepare stuff for it, and I want to do a few things, but it's probably going to start Thanksgiving sometime. So if you want to avoid your family and have a good time, there might be some BGT chat bots that you can interact with. It's going to be a good time. Is Rez avoiding us? Is he not happy?
I don't know. I asked in IRC if he's joining, but he never responded. I don't know if he went to go do something or...
He appeared in my chat, and we agreed that we hate this game, so maybe he's salty about his run.
I guarantee you he's salty about his run.
We were going back and forth whether he was just at some point not clowning around, but just doing a I don't give an F strategies, or like laughing at things going wrong, or if he was absolutely just tilted. But
I tried to talk him into giving me a 15-minute head start, but he didn't go for it.
Would that have even worked?
I would have won. Yeah,
you would have won. All right, congratulations to you for winning with the 15 minutes head start.
Yeah, I think if I'm 15 minutes behind the third best in the world, that's probably okay for me.
Rez is not going to join us. He's not feeling well. We hope he feels a little bit better. But how does it make you feel that you lost to somebody who's not feeling good?
I mean, I don't really know. I don't think it really changes how I feel.
Yeah, well, good guy, BGT, always optimistic. But are you going to PB your next race? You have one race left against King Doll. You're 0-3. Rez moves on to 3-0. He's going to lead that division, and he has. And please correct me if I'm wrong here. I need to know universally how to say his name. Is it Sveni? Svena? Sven?
Svena.
Svena? Okay. Because I hear people, even Swedish people, saying it differently, every time.
I believe. Well, I used to say when I see that name, I think in my head Sven, just like that.
Same.
But
yeah.
I called him that once, and someone laughed at me in my chat, and they were like, "Why did you pronounce it like that?" or something like that. So it was I assume, and most people I hear when they say his name say Svena, so I do believe.
I get that reaction too in my chat when he says hello, and people always overcorrect me, and I think I've gotten corrected every single variation of how I said it. And then he did the Super Mario's Relay at SGDQ. And I believe that didn't help me at all because the people were calling him different names as well. When he ran Super Mario Brothers 2. But so we're gonna go for a 3 PB in the tournament.
That would be awesome if I could do 3 PBs, because there's not much room between my my ultimate goal of 90 and getting a PB anymore. So I'm gonna try my best. King Doll said he's gonna bring his A game versus me, so I'm gonna have to do the same. I'll still lose, but if I want that PB, I'm gonna have to bring the A game.
Well, speaking of A game, Justin, you're also 2-1. You only lost to Rezner, and you have one more match left, and that's against Svena as well. You guys have any of these scheduled yet?
Well, hopefully it's gonna happen on Wednesday. He doesn't know what time. He said he's good for doing it on Wednesday. That's when the next time I can do a race. We're obviously a little bit of a time difference between us.
Yeah. Then you have two of them in your bracket from overseas. So
yep, 2 Swedes, and then we got BGT there on the West Coast. So 9 hours of total difference between the group.
Yeah. So, well, BGT, congratulations on your PB. Sorry you got dealt your third loss there, but best of luck on your race against King Doll.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not worried about the loss to Rez, but yeah, the PB was the goal, so we'll count it as a moral victory.
Congratulations. And Justin, thanks for helping me out, man, and good luck to you in your next race.
Yeah, right on, man. It was a pleasure, indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Take it easy.
All right, there you have it. VReznor defeats bentglasstube. VRez moves on to 3-0. Bentglasstube goes to 0-3. Each player with a match left, as well as Justin, who's also in the group, has a match left. Coming up here, though, not on this channel right now per se, But there's 3 more scheduled matches going to happen on the 22nd, which is Wednesday, I believe. Let me just double check that. Yeah, Wednesday the 22nd. Auntie 85, whatever you want to do, is playing Jam Evil, and that's at 10 p.m. Central European time. So if I do the conversion here, I believe that's 4 p.m. on the East Coast. John Bloody Thumbs is playing Scorpion Max on Friday the 24th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And John Wayne and Jam Evil go Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you check out the schedule to see when and where you can watch those matches, and make sure you follow the runners, and also the link to the tournament page is right there, and also throw Justin a follow as well. And that does it for me and the tournament for tonight. Thanks for hanging out. It's been fun. I will see you guys soon.